All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down, do a Friday afternoon Q&A and conversation with you lovely people. Let's see who all we get in here. Let's get some stuff. Well, we already got a like on the tube. Let's get a little more views in here. Did we set it to public? Yeah, we definitely set it to public. We're good. Dean, you're going to be happy. Dean's like, Coach, they're overrunning it. We need to return to the Capals. It was all in good fun. I said, Coach, why did you have a change of heart? Wait for it. I want to see. Pew, 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 pew. I made the live stream into a shooting gallery for all of my fans to vote on. We're going to go down the road voting people off the island. Everybody's going to have fun with it. I wasn't getting enough Capals. I had to lure them in. Coach, we'll get you on the right training path. But wait for it, Scott. It's going to come. Watch when they all roll in here. Because even Dean and some other people said, man, they're overwhelming it. This isn't good. So they're going to roll in here. We're going to have fun with this one. But, yeah, training was really good today. You guys saw the vlog. I feel like I'm looking leaner, thicker, everything in there. Plus, we added some extra leg work at the very end. I like doing legs at the very end of a full body, right? We get all that arm work done, and we get the legs. Because I got to bring the arms up, right? It's like, yeah, let's unban hundreds and hundreds of trolls just to lure them in. Just so, because you guys were saying you love the Capals so much, right? You guys were loving the voting the Capals. You know, people were giving supers just because they enjoyed the Capals. They liked it. They like getting to vote people off. Well, let's make a game, right? Let's make a game of it. We had to make it interesting. We got to make it entertaining. That could be the whole topic of the day, to be honest. My training was really good. I was super happy with it. The benching is coming along. The tricep strength is coming along. Those dips keep coming up. I feel like my bench is going to improve. I was real nice through this whole last one, right? I just sat there all calm and collect. And acted sweet. For 4 years, she was sweet. She was lovey-dovey. Got to play some George Thorogood. They don't get from me now, as long as I get my rent paid by next Friday. I need to bust out the guitar for that. All right, but no, let's get some conversations going. Scott Allen, let's get some conversation. Let's get some topics, whether they're current events, whether they're training. Let's talk about y'all's training. Otherwise, I'll talk about mine. Man, we added the belt squats back in at the end. And you guys ready for it? Alan, Scott, you ready? Let's wind up the gavel. We lured him in. Kapow! And he's out. Ooh, that felt good. All right. That's George Gerther's song, Encourages. I know that's unfortunately true. That is the downside. I know it's such a good song, but unfortunately it does encourage alcohol consumption, which really sucks, man. I missed that one. No, we didn't even need to vote on that one, man. I already remembered it from last time. Frederico said, Coach, your opinion first on weeks of calorie deficit, feeling fluffy and watery. Is it normal? Almost no pump. Just keep grinding, man. It's all good. It's going to happen sometimes when you're in your deficit. All right. But we'll let you guys vote on some of them. You know, some of them are just very obvious they got to go, right? When the Hank Hill guy comes back, we'll pop him next. But we lured a bunch of them back in. Well, we are going to do the Capal voting game, but some of them, like people already, we knew they wanted to be out. It's all good. Man, you wanted to vote. Alan, I'm sorry. I apologize. You feel denied your right to vote on that one. Well, we were getting the gavel warmed up, right? We're getting the gavel warmed up. Okay. Julian, is it fair to say that for some long limb lifters, their front delts can be holding back their chest stimulus and doing some flies before or after pressing motion to be better for hypertrophy? No, pre-exhaustion has been pretty much destroyed in all the literature. Pre-exhaustion has never worked for anybody not on tons of gear. No. So no, that's not at all. Because why would your front delts be worked less on flies? right? The anterior deltoids are a primary mover on flies, just like the pecs, right? So I'm going to go with no, probably not. You're just going to need to do more chest work. You might need to find angles that work your chest a little better, adjust your grips, other stuff. Thoughts on neck training, Dingleberry? Hey, Dingleberries, anytime you post any of your other stuff, we're going to put you up to vote now. We bring it back. I unbanned people so that we could do lots and lots of voting. We can get lots of people off. We can warm up the gavel. So the first time you come in with your gay BDSM stuff, we're going to put it up for a vote. Okay, Bogo Ibanez was a troll last time. We got some of the regular people in here. Do we want to vote him off? Kapower, stay. Kapower, stay. I'll let you guys vote. Anthony, how can you squat if you have a naturally curved spine? I get a lot of rounding at the back of the bottom of the squat. It's not actually true rounding, though, if you look at it, right? It's not true rounding. It's actually your spine going flat if you look close. Look really, really closely. I wouldn't worry about it that much. My question is, does it hurt? Well, Alan, the stuff he was posting in the last stream was. So we'll wait. We'll give him a little longer. I would have just hit him by default, but you felt denied of your vote. So I did want to give you a chance to vote. You know, we got to have some democracy here. Joe Schmo says, Jason, I have an extremely high Achilles tendon, but I've grown my calves 2 inches in 3 months with consistent standing calf raises multiple times a week. There's no excuse for anyone with bad calves. There you go, man. Getting in, getting it done. Conflicting debate on TRT injections versus pellets. Any benefits of one? And I just don't think normal depot is really a problem. I mean, compared to having the pellets under your skin, right? Right? I don't really see the benefit of the pellets. It's just extra hassle in getting the pellets under the skin when a person can just take a shot every 7 days or every 14 days. It really isn't that big of a deal. Just my opinion on it personally. Ask about number. Skip back over. What is considered a big neck inches wise? I don't know what's considered big. I really have never looked at specifics on it, to be honest, Dingleberry. I think neck training can be worth it for people who compete in contact sports. If you're weak at the lockout of your deadlift, Louis Simmons always believed that neck harness training would help with the deadlift lockout. Okay, definitely good in contact sports, right? Is flare of elbows on a closed grip bench just pointless and potentially harmful? I don't know that it's harmful. No, it's not necessarily harmful. For some people, though, it's not about pointless. It's just the direction it's going to go. It is very difficult on a true closed grip to really keep the elbows fully tucked all the way. If you're in really close, it's actually quite difficult. Speaking as someone who you've seen me closed grip 365, true closed grip, it's actually quite hard once you get heavy to keep them tucked, unlike with a wider grip. But I don't think that it's harmful. No, there's no reason to think that it is. Right? I wouldn't tell you to intentionally flare them, though, but it may happen by default. Joe, I notice a lot of people who run hybrid training like you do see their deadlift blow up but struggle with squats. I think if anything, think about what lends itself to squats. Weight gain helps the squat way, way, way more than the deadlift. In fact, body fat can hurt the deadlift. So think of it in terms of people who tend to do more hybrid stuff, may be lighter, they may be leaner, therefore squats are going to be a little more difficult. I don't think it really and truly is a case of the cross interference of running always interfering, unless they're fairly new to it. But I think it could be the issue of just overall body weight and body fat possibly being lower. It's simply harder to bring your squat up without fat gain due to the leverages involved. And it's not because you're weaker, it's because body fat simply helps the squat with extra squish. Right? Most of the strongest squatters in the world are really fat. Most of the best deadlifters tend to be fairly lean. What's the maximum width you would have someone grip for a wide grip bench that would be chest focused? Well, I mean, there's practical limitations, Julian. One, what are their shoulders comfortable with? Number two, are they pinching their fingers in the hooks? You know, you're going to be limited by your equipment, right? You don't want to be pinching your pinky fingers when you rack the weight. So that could be a practical limitation. Or some people going super wide may hurt their shoulders more. But I mean, I don't think that there is truly a maximum width to which we would say is a hard, fast rule. Right? Jason, do you hear about the powerlifter who nearly locked out a 500 kilogram deadlift without a suit or straps? Yeah, we talked about all that when it happened. All right. It was the talk of the entire town, but you're a little bit late to the party, my friend. Like, this was the biggest piece of news in the lifting world over a month ago. Like, we talked about it in the streams. I posted about it on Facebook. Yeah, definitely heard about it. Mustafa, how you doing, man? Just saw you in the Facebook. Imagine the grips from altitude is strong as hell. Do you think that a wide grip bench press should only be used for competition lifts only? No, wide grip bench is great for chest development. How many of the old school OG bodybuilders, we're talking silver era, bronze era, right, used to grip the bar really wide and had massive chests? Even golden era bodybuilders, right? How many of them look at those grips and they had massive pecs? No, I think really wide grip is great for building a big chest. Do you think a camber bar bench is just overall better than a dumbbell bench and achieves the same thing? There's going to be some slight differences in terms of nuance, but it's not really stretch of the chest, is it, Julian? When that was looked at in a study where they looked at cambered bars versus a straight bar on the bench, what did they determine was the actual muscle that got the deeper stretch from the additional range of motion? Do you remember? The chest itself didn't stretch any further. The tendon in there stretched further, but the muscle itself didn't achieve any deeper stretch when they tested it in like 8 test subjects. But the front delts worked a lot harder, right? So then I would say it's often the same thing with the dumbbells. In fact, particularly since we often have to pronate them in for safety, you have veins everywhere. Can we see a bicep flex? Okay, we want to mount. You should drop me a super chat for this, Emma. You gonna pay me for this? You need to drop me a super. Oh, mount bicep, yes. All right. Send me $5 for that. Send me $20 for that. All right, next. You better pay up, girl. All right. Are you related to Captain Dylan Blaha? Probably, I'm sure, somewhere down the road. I didn't see that anywhere in the news, actually. I mean, I would assume with the same last name, we have some distant relationships somewhere. Emma says, Google Maps has nothing on your forearms. Yeah, the forearm, we got veins everywhere today. We all vascular. Hey, Jason, what's up, Kenshiro? Is mind muscle connection just thinking about the lift as you do it so you can, yeah, I mean, it's performing a lift in such a way that you feel the exercise more. It's not just thinking, it's trying to concentrate on a technique where you feel it more. And there's some data to back it, Did you see the video where Dave Tate tried to level up Juji Mufu's GHD technique and he couldn't even do one rep? No, I didn't. You're saying Juji couldn't do one? What coach thoughts on, man? You need to type that out. OA, I'm going to see, is that one arm? Man, you need to type all that out, bro. I'm just done. Followed by BSPD. I don't even know what you just wrote. James Travisson was covering the captain, Blaha. Man, there better not be a Blaha up here doing that. Man, I'm telling you, my family's not right. They're not right sometimes. Oh, Blahas, why y'all so crazy? You only knew. You'll donate $100 if I can decipher my chat. Okay, hold on. I don't think you really will. All right, thoughts on, we'll go with one arm. What's going to be the CS? I don't know. Chest supported rows. Thoughts on one arm, chest supported rows, followed by back squat. I don't know. PDs taken to failure or RPE 9.5. I don't know what the PD stands for at all. I got half of it, so send me $50. What's your most impressive feat of strength? I pulled 635 on camera with a stiff bar with just chalk and a belt. Could dips replace bench press in recreational routine as long as the trainees' joints can handle them? I don't want to admit that. I like both. All right. What's up, everybody? What we talking about? We were going to be pew and trolls in here, but they all started getting real quiet as soon as they realized I'm actually going to start banning them. This was all a trap. Joe, you had it. Back supported. That should be back squat. Come on, man. Back, I don't know. Titus, you should send the money anyways. Not gym strength, natural strength. Like, have you ever lifted the back end of a car, pressed somebody above your head? I've had an ex-girlfriend with that pressed above my head. She thought it was funny. Joe had it. Have you moved away from the river? No, it's been the issue of my range of motion is a problem. Pull downs, like, well, why would we even be discussing pull downs? Back supported pull down. That's not even a thing. What? I don't even know what the hell that is, Joe. I've never even heard in my 25 years in the iron game. I have never in my life heard of a back supported pull down. That's a completely new exercise to me. We already know what RPE. RPE is a standard acronym. Back supported push. I don't even know what that is. I don't think I've ever seen this exercise in my life. Is neck training worth it or not? It depends, Dingleberry. It can be if you want a bigger neck or you're going to be in a contact sport. Thoughts on training the neck? I'm not a fan of the side to side. I think it can contribute to sleep apnea. I think the back is best, will be helpful for contact sports, but I'm not a fan of the side to side. Let's get some predictions for the Yo Coach. We got Lunsford. That dude's a bag of oil. I don't like any of it, man. It's all just disgusting now. I don't like any of the physiques in the modern bodybuilding. Probably going to be Samson, though. I mean, to be fair, I don't want to give credit to any of this death cult nonsense at this point. But to be fair, out of those three, Samson probably meets the ideals of the judging criteria closest. Does the high lat row hammer strength machine have any utility? Sure, maybe. Right? Or you could just do barbell rows and weighted pull-ups. You've never seen back support. I've never even heard of a back supported push down. Well, the front will too, Ken Shiro, because the back, you're only working the extensors. It's not anywhere near all of this, right? That's already going to get big from lifting. That's going to get thicker just from all your trap and back work and stuff. Your volume seems high, hope all is well. Yeah, the training volume too, but I'm only training 3 days a week. We're only training 3 days a week. And I'm scaling the running accordingly. do you find people are intimidated by it? I don't think they're intimidated, Emma, no. I get compliments. I get comments in public and stuff, but I don't think people are intimidated because I come across as very friendly. I'm actually a pretty nice person. So, that's a mad dog in you. No, I'm really silly in person. Barbell rows versus chest supported rows. Barbell rows. Coach, have you ever attempted a heavy bench press or weight with them? I don't do bench press with that grip. We don't need to talk about all the different comments I get, and it's not relevant. All right, Jason, would you ever enter a 5K race? Yes. Do you have any interest in any of the women's categories wellness? I like women's wellness. Yeah, I think they look good. All right. No, Chad, I actually think the women's wellness, I think some of the bikini still looks good. I worry about their health at the level of leanness, but I definitely have seen some bikini competitors tend to look very, very good, even at contest time. Like they're still very attractive. I like the wellness. I do get concerned though, with the potential health impact, even for the bikini, with something that some of them get. I'll match a super chat. Dean says he'll match super chats. Well, we'll see if we get any in here. One guy offered $100, but I failed his test. Oh, well. I see young lifters benching 225 with elbow wraps, and I understand the need to wrap up. Yeah, ridiculous. Whereas you see me do rep work at 315 with no elbow wraps. There's no point in wrapping your elbows. There's no reason other than to cheat the weight up. There's just an injury waiting to happen. Greg, you said, is now dissecting Dr. Mike's PhD paper, trying to paint a picture that Mike is actually not that intelligent, pointing out that spelling errors and Mike copy pastaing sentences in papers. Wow. Is there no benefit for hypertrophy from machined chest pressing or benching versus benching? I mean, you can grow your chest doing it. I think the bench is just an overall better. I think it's overall better, my opinion. Not that you won't gain chest from the machine. All right, guys, drop a super chat so Dean will match it. Coach, what are your number one rule when it comes to benching technique, a leg drive or bar grip? I think grip is more important because leg drive, it's not going to make or break you till you get real strong. And leg drive's worth what, maybe 10 pounds? So realistically, I think grip is more important if you're going to focus on technique. I think that's what's going to save your shoulders. I think that's what's going to give you the best force generation is going to be the way that you choose to grip. And you guys know how I personally recommend the grip is, again, across the wrist bone and break the bar. Are you against? I'm not against wrist wraps. I think elbow sleeves are, again, a cheat to help you lift more weight and because you're not fixing your elbow tendonitis. Again, it's being used either to cheat more weight up or it's being used to blunt inflammation. You just stream. Well, that was earlier. We always do an afternoon stream, please. We're doing a lot of streams every day. I spend like 3 or 4 hours in the live streams. Big part of the outreach. It gets clients. It gets traffic. Have you ever heard of the carnivore cult leader Godus only vaguely and how he tried to kill his ex-wife? Wow, no, I didn't hear about that part. Yeah, I think pausing. I mean, pausing is how do I put this? Pausing versus what? A soft touch and go or a bounce? Now, bouncing is a problem. I mean, pausing is valuable, but you can still build a really big bench with touch and go. So I still think if we've got to narrow it down to one technical cue, I think the grip is the most important. And then we will go down the road from there. Because you asked me what was the most important. So now if we're going to start prioritizing, we can come up with about 6 more. But you asked me most important, and I think grip. Jason, my friend, told me doing a program of very high rep bench press, like 20 plus reps, gave him tremendous strength gains because he bench pressed. He did lots of bench pressing with progressive overload, so he gained tremendous strength gains. Nothing special about that rep range. If anything, we could argue, Power building techniques, heavy 1 to 3 rep max plus some back off work has worked incredibly well for my intermediate lifters, as long as volume is sufficient without even needing percentages exactly. We don't need percentages for it. Is myofibular versus sarcoplasmic hypertrophy distinction a real thing? There are some experts who believe it could be. It still has never been demonstratively shown to be true. So it's one of those hypotheticals that there's a good argument for it, but thus far, there is no evidence to actually directly support it. Okay. I know Jason, but he gained more strength than when he did low rep programs, according to him. How did he judge that? How did he measure that? What other variables were changed? There could have been other variables at play. However, if they're only training 3 hours per week, 3 days a week, I've noticed a good amount of supersets are needed to hit total volume. Yeah, if they have a really short time frame to train. A lot of lifters have fake sarcoplasmic muscle. No, it's not sarcoplasmic. It's transient storage factors like glycogen storage, triglyceride storage. That's more the fake that disappears. Because there's no guarantee that we can differentiate sarcoplasmic versus myofibular growth. All right, let me answer Tony into Facebook. I know you're not a fan of Smith machines. Nope. But is it still worth training the big 3-on-1 if it's all I currently have access to? I would not squat in a Smith machine unless literally my life was on the line. To me, that is just, I can't get my head around not hurting yourself trying to squat in a Smith machine. I get bodybuilders do it way back as nothing like a back squat. They do it almost like a machine press, right? It's nothing like a traditional back squat in terms of bar path. It's just not worth it. Like trying to do a true back squat in a Smith machine, it just to me seems like a one-way ticket to Snap City. And I'm not talking about that weird one the bodybuilders do where they treat it like a hack squat machine and they have the bar behind them almost, behind their center of gravity and the feet out in front. So no, you're not going to replicate a correct back squat and deadlift. No. I suppose you could bench press in it if you need to. And one of the trolls has come back. Pizza Stop owner. We're gonna give you a vote in just a minute. He's gonna post something hateful, and then we're gonna give him the vote. Let's give him a moment. Get ready for it, guys. Is it okay to accelerate into the hole on a squat and bounce out, but not bounce on the bench? Because on the bench, you're literally losing tension by bouncing it off your chest. Whereas you're actually getting a myotatic reflex in the quads by bouncing. All right. Now, if you were bouncing off of a box, it would be very similar to bouncing on the bench. Yeah, Leighton says one last riddle. That's right, Pizza. They're letting you know. They're getting it warmed up. Let's let him get his little riddle in. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big bad bat? Sorry, that was a Batman reference. All right. So we know that Pizza Stop owner is a troll already. The jury, just based upon that bit of information, right? Let's get an initial vote. Do we kapow him or do we let him stay? Do I stay or should I go? Ken Shiro gives a kapow. Anybody else? Any stays, any kapows? So far, we're 1-0. Let's get the vote. Jury. Anybody else? Blaze gives him a stay. We're 1-1. Let's get some more. Otherwise, I'm going to be the tiebreaker. He said, Kapow won't make your arms any bigger. Anybody else care to vote? I'm not intelligent enough to know what he said. That's Kapow. He went in on a lot of stuff in the other stream. But so far, he just said, a Kapow won't make my arms bigger. So, Alan, are you abstaining from a vote? Well, yeah, guys, hurry up. I think you are vibrating, Coach. I am vibrating. Kenshiro gives another Kapow. I'm going to be the tiebreaker with a Kapow. Kapow. BMW gave you a Kapow, too. Wind it up. Kapow! Piece of stop runners out. The Big Banks lover is that purple thing. He's talking about a dildo. Big Banks is now up for the vote. Blam, you said it, Alan. Big Banks is referring to claiming he thinks that I believes I'm sitting on a purple dildo. All right, are we ready? Should he stay or should he go? Kapow or stay? Should I stay or should I go now? You guys know the song. All right? Let's get a vote for Big Banks lover. Thinks I'm sitting on a vibrator. I watch every barefoot stream. Blaze gives him a Kapow. Kenshiro gives a Kapow. This is 2 Kapows so far. Anybody else care to vote on this one? The jury is out. That's why we have Pew Pew in the title. This one's going to be a shooting gallery. We got 2 Kapows. Anybody else care to vote? I'm going to give it 10 seconds. 1, 6. Wind up the band hammer. Kapow! And another one's out. All right, let's get over to some real topics. I'm about to go to sleep. Good night, Mustafa. We're getting rid of the band. We're getting rid of trolls in here on the 2s. Extra loud Kapow. Blaze Indo says, can we get a quad shot? Let's see where the quads are. All right, hold on. Let's rate the quads today, guys. How are the quads doing on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are we at? Very striated. Okay, they were a lot veinier earlier, but that's okay. They'll come back out. We're doing good there. Are the hamstrings as developed as the quads? My hamstrings are pretty big. You've seen shots of them from the side. Right? All right. How fast can you run? The 1 mile yesterday was 8 minutes, 17 seconds on the barefoot run. So, I mean, I'm not super fast, but we're slowly getting better. All right. Coach, Chad said, Coach thought I'd share that my dad just made it out of ICU from sclerosis. This came from very violent long-term consistent use of alcohol. I'm with you on your anti-use and can't be moderated. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. How do I say this? Because I've seen loved ones of mine hurt by alcohol, when someone else expresses a story of someone they care about being hurt by alcohol, I'm very compassionate about that, you know? So I'm truly sorry to hear that, Chad. I really am, man. That sucks. And like you said, very mild but consistent use can be enough to cause damage, unfortunately. So yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Pro Xerxes crew has arrived. What's up, AMC? AMC doesn't like Paul Carter a lot. He's not Paul Carter's number one fan. Okay. Nobody's Paul Carter's number one fan. The Mirror has lodged a complaint to Trump to get PC to stop looking at it. Oh, oh Lord. Coach is Justin's ultra wide stance low bar squat based on his femur length. No, it's based on his leverages. So Justin is stronger at sumo also, right? Like, dude, he usually sumos like 40, 50 pounds more than he conventionals. Okay. Like, he's sumo 590 before on camera, but I don't think he's conventional more than 550. So he's just really good. Just has to do with his personal hip angles. Like, he's just very strong in those positions. He has strong adductors. He probably has certain things happening with his hip structure. He's very strong at the wide stance stuff. So it's just structure more than anything, you know. Training discussion started. Thoughts on programming around effective reps more than at set count. I think that is probably a more intelligent approach. Coach, what do you think about calisthenics? Like as its own training modality, sucks. As a good addition to your weight training, amazing. That's a fair answer, right? I'm a big fan of bodyweight exercises worked into an overall program. Big fan. As a standalone, you're going to have weak ass legs. You're going to have imbalances. You have a mechanical. I'm not sure what we mean by mechanical. What do we define as mechanical? Weighted. I'm a big fan. I do them all the time. I mean, you saw me do weighted dips and weighted pull-ups in my training today, right? But as far as the other discussion with AMC, no, I think thinking in terms of effective reps. But if we take everything really close to failure, then set count does work. If you're leaving 4 reps in reserve, then it doesn't really. It's like, yeah, then effective reps becomes way more important. Thoughts on a 45-degree hyperextension versus other hip hinges? I think I don't think that. How do I put it? I don't have thoughts on that. Meaning, it's just another tool in the toolbox, right? It's just another tool in your toolbox. Mars says, no, I'm not going to DM you. Is it any better than an angled Smith machine? Well, I don't think the angled Smith machine is better either, personally. What's good, Coach? Well, the stream's doing pretty good. Sorry, I'm having to dealing with some messages back and forth here, guys. But we are still here. What is chest fly trains the upper chest? Yes. So does a bench press. So does a dumbbell press. So does a dip. If by the upper chest you mean the upper portion of the pec major, right? It's kind of a topic where we go back and forth and people bring up the pec minor there, but the pec minor is very, very small. It's like way up here underneath. Thoughts on push-pull legs with 1 time a week frequency? I've put clients on push-pull legs 1 time a week frequency. Do you recommend neck training for a big neck? If you personally want a big neck, then sure. But keep in mind, shrugs, deadlifts, rows, all that will make your neck bigger. Is tofu a good option if you're poor and cannot afford meat? No, because tofu isn't cheaper than meat. I mean, the one with the machines not on the bench would, what? I mean, you're talking about like a pec deck. That's not called a fly. Thoughts on farmer's walks? I think weighted carries are a great form of GPP. Is there deadlifts on a pull day or a leg day? I suppose it depends on where you want to put them. Hey, Blaze, that is the ultimate problem with body part, any sort of split starts to become, oh man, I don't know where to put an exercise. That's one of the strengths of full body. You don't have to worry about it. You can put any exercise you want on any day. Is a bigger neck more attractive to women? I don't know. Hey Dingle, why do you assume all women are the same person? Thoughts on Alpha Destiny becoming vegan? I think that is some ridiculous nonsense, right? I'm just not going to be a fan of veganism. So I'm not going to sign off on people getting involved with crazy cult fad diets, and that's what it is, right? Also, is the world more different than the 2000s? I think so. I mean, the world is a very different place today. I mean, it really and truly is, even more so than the 90s. Way different. Like every decade has been significantly different, at least here in the US. Speaking as someone who's 48, every single decade has been a significant change in our society and the world. If I reverse grip with my chest press machine, will I target more? Probably not. Hey, Zayd, this is not really a big machine channel. I might be like, why aren't you bench pressing? Where's the barbell? Seated neck extensions are for the upper back, while reverse hyperextensions are for the lower back. Some truth to that. Right. Hey, coach, you talked about chin ups for optimal bicep growth. How close are your grip your chin ups to maximize bicep development? I don't know that grip width is going to be a massive factor in that. Right. I mean, if we were to nitpick, on that, I don't think that we need to. But if we were to say, hey, if we had to pick one exact grip that we think would hypothetically maybe get the most potential for bicep growth, not saying that it would be more than the others, I would lean in the direction of exactly shoulder width. Now, am I stating that as some sort of fact? Do I think it's probably going to matter enough to make a difference? Probably not. People were better, kinder, gentler, more open. Yeah, definitely. Tofu block of firm tofu contains about 45 grams of protein. It costs $3 per gram of protein. What? No, pound of chicken is not. Dude, I pay like $2.50 for a pound of chicken breast. What are you talking about? It's half the price. You don't live where I live. So if you're going to ask me about food choices and costs, I'm going to only be able to answer you with where I live. I'm not going to be able to answer your math where you live. I can tell you where I live, chicken protein from breast costs less than tofu does. All right. So back over to this conversation. Tofu block of firm tofu contain. Yeah. No, dude, chicken is way cheaper, at least where I live. So again, it could be different where you are. Giovanni says, sup, coach, what's going on, Giovanni? We're on all platforms right now. So I'm also on the tubes if you want to swing through there. Yeah, chicken loses 25% weight when cooked. Still doesn't mean it's still cheaper protein. What are you talking about? I'm just struggling to imagine where you live to where tofu is a cheaper protein source than chicken breast. Like I just can't get my head around that idea. Gram for gram, chicken is maybe 50%, 60% of the cost of tofu per gram of protein. And it's slightly higher bioavailability. I'm not anti tofu either. So, Blaze, where do you actually live? Would be the question. In New York City. Interesting. Actually, surprised that tofu is cheaper in New York. I thought you were going to say something like the Netherlands or something. I don't know. They really want $5 a pound for chicken breast up there. Do you have a short head or long advice? I have no idea. I have no clue, Emma. Don't know, don't care. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm a strength athlete, so I don't stand around worrying about that. I'm not even sure that's really a thing. Um, Coach favorite head is the head he get what? El Deuce is over here saying, all right, guys, we got El Deuce in here. It's time for a vote. El Deuce is saying, I give head to a boyfriend. The one everyone knows that I'm straight. And I'm not even homophobic, but I'm strictly taco no burrito, bro. So I'm going to put this up for a vote. I'm going to put this up for a vote. Kapow, or does he stay? I'm going to let the fans vote. We're going to let the fans vote. Does he stay or does he go? Voters. Stay, nothing wrong with it. Well, that's not the point. The point is that he's making a false accusation of it. That makes sense. I'm not actually anti-gay, but I am straight. So again, it's making a false accusation as an insult. So Blaze votes to let him stay. Anybody want to kapow him? Come on, anybody? Any other votes? Nobody else wants to vote? I guess I will leave it for now. Actually, I'm probably just going to get rid of him for throwing insults. Anyways, we just going to get rid of him. And I happen to agree. I happen to agree, by the way, being in the closet isn't healthy. I'm not in the closet. Okay, so we got one boot, which is a kapow, two kapows, one stay. Anybody else want to vote? Well, 2-1, and then I'll vote to kapow 2 for 3-1. Off the band hammer. Kapow! And he's out. In the shooting gallery today. Do you think it's better? No, why would it be better? And by the way, I don't care if someone is. Like, I'm not bothered by it. Like, people are gay, they're gay. Not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. Right? But that's sort of nonsense. Just accusing is silly. Women are a pain. Women are wonderful, man. What are you talking about? They can be a pain sometimes, but they're the overall, the net positives. I haven't liked women. I actually like women a lot. I have more women friends than I do dudes, honestly. Jason, how often do you shave? Every couple days. The head, I try to do about every 3 days or so. The neck, almost daily. Sometimes I forget. The head can only go about 3 or 4 days before I need to shave it again. Emma, I actually really don't know. Thoughts on Jonathan Warren? Okay, Tychus, you know the rules. Is this a video game, a basketball player, an influencer? Work with me here. You can't just throw random names out. I need details. Is this a video game? Don't just assume I know who something or someone is. You know, you could be like, he's a basketball player, most famous for his time spent with the New York Lakers in 1986, where he won whatever the basketball equivalent of a bowl game is, right? How often do you train? I lift 3 days a week. I do cardio every day. 3 days a week. Emma, all my training is vlogged. Every single workout I do is on the internet. His philosophy for better bodybuilding is rib cage decompress, and rib cage is a big factor for chest and back. I've never heard of him. Do you like the New York Lakers? Yeah, man, that's my favorite basketball team. That shows you how little I know about basketball. No super. I know, Dean. What's up with that? Dean was going to match supers and nobody's dropped one. You are killing me, because Dean actually matches them. He actually does it. He actually does it when people do it. Oh, well. I got one this morning earlier, but it was during the midday stream. People have been stingy with them this week. It's okay, though. They've been a little stingy with them. Yeah. Unfortunately, Dean, they're not dropping them. Coach, F the NBA, right? I'm just not a basketball fan. I'm not really that ripped, honestly. It's just my arms and legs are maybe. I'm not like super lean. How much was morning? It was at like an exchange, like a Denmark currency. So it was like $2.70 or something. So it was not a big super. One of my coffee chats, I got like 12 the other day. So we dropped to 12. I had a coffee chat one time where people dropped like a bunch of it. It would be like 35 in one coffee chat. Do you think trolls secretly love you? I mean, they're clearly obsessed with me in that way, please. It's very obvious. Coach, thoughts on the government shutdown? I hope they shut down the IRS and it stays shut down, and I hope they get rid of all of our back taxes. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting on them to forgive all of our back taxes. That's what I want to see. Right. Show my forearm. There's my forearm. You want to rate the forearm today? IRS will be abolished, Coach, in 20. I mean, I hope so. They need to abolish it this year. They need to abolish the IRS this year. That would like make my day. 80% of my life problems would be gone if the IRS was abolished. Like right now. My life would be so much less stressful. I don't understand why they're obsessed with you, dude. Yeah, exactly. We can get by on tariffs. We can even get by on a corporate tax. We shouldn't be taxing American citizens, right? Keep in mind, we literally fought a revolution over a 3% tax. This entire country was founded on citizens rebelling against a 3% tax. I appreciate the super chat, Dean. Thank you, since no one else dropped one in here. Much appreciated, brother. Although I did get the Facebook bonus yesterday, I mean, not my monetized page. I picked up the extra bonus if you get 3 posts that reach this much reach. I hit it in 4 days for the weekly bonus. So I need to hit it every week. Why, thank you, Emma. Let's go. He'll match. Dean says he'll match. Anyone who does a super chat, he'll match it. Dean's always serious about that too, man. Nobody's going to do it though today, I don't think. I don't think anybody's going to do the super chat matching game. How do you bench these days? I did 315 for 4 pause reps today. So it's coming. It's doing okay. Which at this body weight I'll take, because the 350 has been my best body weight at this bench, and I did that a couple months ago. Now that I've cut down lighter, but I did 350 for a 2-second pause. Yeah, I'm at 209 right now. Dude, I don't have a 6-pack at all. I just got it outline of abs. And I have training footage up from today shirtless. You see exactly what I look like. It's not exactly hard to find. No, it's not 350. 50. No, I do rep work with 315. So my top set today was 4 reps with 315. No, I benched 350 for a 2-second pause a couple months back at that weight. That's where I'm at the moment. It's okay. I'm 48. 48 years old, so I'll take it. Right. It's coming along. I want to get it back to 360. So my goal is once I get down under 200, trimming down a bit, I want to get it back to 365. Coach thought on IPAs, like, what do you mean by an IPA? I hit 250 for 2 at a 200 body weight. Thoughts? That's a good base. Didn't keep working, man. You got a base. That's a good base. That's honestly a good foundation, right? I think that's a good baseline strength that you've developed. So you've built a good base. Keep chipping away at it, right? Keep chipping away. Get up to 300. You can do it. You're just going to have to be consistent, right? Oh, he means a beer. I'm completely anti-alcohol, Tychus. No, I don't allow alcohol in my home. I have a strict rule of no alcoholic beverages are allowed inside my house, I guess. Yeah, I'm super strict about that. So just an FYI, right? Should I go up 5 pounds a week? How many? No, I mean, you need to just program it out. You can't, if you're at 250 for 2, how are you going to add 5 pounds a week? So you probably need to think through a whole bench program. I mean, you could hit me up for consultation on that. I can help you break one down, or I do coaching. I have multiple coaching slots open right now. Feel free to apply. Or if you want to set up a consultation, I charge $100 an hour for those. I tend to do about 4 or 5 of those a month on average. And I can help you run down all of it and look at what's going on with your bench with some programming. So I do a lot of those. Can you show us those insane arms? No, we're good, Emma. Hey, Emma, you need to drop a super chat for that, then Dean will match it. People want me to flex on camera. They're not willing to pay. Thoughts on bench press without leg drive, like placing the feet on the bench. I'm not a fan of putting always the feet up on the bench. You can do a floor press for that purpose, or you can just focus on not using leg drive. Right? Now, if you mean like a Larson press with the leg straight, it's a good assistance exercise. But keep in mind, unless you're needing to do it, there's nothing wrong with just benching and having a small amount of leg drive. And I think where people forget, and the reason those exist is because once you learn how to leg drive, it's hard to not leg drive, right? It's very difficult to not use leg drive when you get tight on a bench press once you've gotten in the habit of doing it. You know, so there is that. You in the powerlifting? Yeah, I've got a whole stack of medals from 2 different feds. I broke state records in this fed, Texas state records, 3 different meets a few years ago. Honestly, the main tip to perfecting the leg drive is learning how to dig in. It's really your setup. So if you can get your feet dug in hard enough, the main trick, honestly, is getting your heels behind the knees when you get set in and doing a leg extension into the floor. So if you do that and you get tight, when you sink it, you'll have leg drive by default. So if you dig the feet in tight enough and you sink the bar, you will have leg drive without even trying. Right? And deer bone individuals who stress harder in the heavier top sets. I think wrist wraps are okay. I point out that you probably need some phases of no wrist wraps. Notice not elbow wraps. That was about elbow wraps. Now wrist wraps, I do like to run phases with no wrist wraps. I did that 350 bench without wrist wraps, by the way. The 350 bench, I had on a pair of shorts. That's it. I mean, literally nothing on but a pair of shorts when I did the 350. No belt, no shoes, no wrist wraps. So I do like phases of raw benching, like that completely. But as far as the wrist wraps go, you may at certain points, particularly if you're getting a lot of compressive stress, they'll help keep that lower. But I think some phases without them are good just to toughen the bone density. You know what the problem is? My T-spine is so tight that all the arch comes from the lower back. It's normal. Do you consider 400 bench? An elite bench is not based on a baseline number. Elite benches are determined by federation weight and age classes. You can go look up what an elite bench is. My wingspan is orangutan level and my elbow pain goes up from deer bones. Okay. Why are my strength standards so low? What do you mean? I don't think my strength standards are low at all. I'm not putting out strength standards for elite lifting. You can go to federations for that. I put out strength standards as just baseline good goals to reach. Right. And a lot of people think my strength standards are excessive. They're like, that's too high. People can't hit, you're unrealistic. So it's kind of funny. Like I get people who don't compete in strength sports who think the strength standards I put out are excessive and unrealistic. And then elite powerlifters think that my strength standards aren't high enough. I'm like, but I'm not talking about to be an elite powerlifter. Can we get a barefoot running stream? You got one yesterday. I heard if you can bench 200, you're stronger than 90, but 99% of the world doesn't lift. So do you see the problem with that? Only 3% of the population goes to the gym. Right? Are you barefoot right now? Yes. I don't wear shoes in the house. Right? Yeah, IRL, everyone says excessive, but on the online keyboards, you can't even bench 830. 185 says everyone is weak, right? So my dad bod strength standard, for those who are not aware, is 315 bench, 405 squat, 500 deadlift, 10 pull-ups. That's the dad bod strength standard. And I get people who are like, that's excessive. You shouldn't expect the average 40-year-old man to do that. And I think that it's reasonable if they put in plenty of work. Because I'm talking about guys who've been going to the gym for a decade. You're in your 40s and you've been working out and you've been training 10 or 15 years and you can't hit those numbers. My question is, what have you been doing at the gym the whole time? All that 15 years you've been going, had a gym membership. What did you do with it? Did you just masturbate to the girls on the stair stepper the whole time? Or did you get in and train? Like, even if you did nothing but bodybuilding training, you should still be strong enough to hit those numbers. Come on, guys. I take on fasting. Defiant Trill says both. I intermittent fast. I usually don't eat breakfast until noon most days. I've been doing that for years, actually. I train. All my training is done fasted. I get good workouts with a clear head fasted. So yeah, that 2-hour workout you saw me do this morning was fasted. A girl made fun of me. No, she didn't. I'm not making fun of you for squatting. That seems unlikely. I eat under 2,000 calories a day to lose weight. Some days I don't eat. Man, that's really low. That's extremely low calories. Are you really sedentary? That just seems excessively low. Yeah. She said I look silly, coach. Who cares what she said? You work out hard twice a day, 2,000 calories. I can't even comprehend eating 2,000 calories other than a complete fast for making weight in a powerlifting meet. I don't even know what 2,500 calories a day feels like. I really don't do less than like 3,000 ever for years on end. Like my last 16-pound cut, I never went under 3,000. Well, they blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night. What? That's what it takes to get lean. Yeah, I ain't doing all that. We're not doing that nonsense. Coach, optimal protein intake on demand, meaning a day of rest to consume the most protein and balance high carb on it. I don't think you need to stagger it like that. Do you sell merch? I would love to get me a gym owner shirt if possible. They should be under the videos. There should be a link to the old 5x5 merch and stuff. So it may not be under the live stream, but if you look under all my other informative videos, I have shirts. So I have a little merch store. I haven't updated it in a few years. I can't even comprehend eating 2,000 calories. Like, to me, that is just so low. I struggle to get my head around that. Like, you mean 2,000 calories of just carbs? Are we not counting our protein? Right. I eat like 400 grams of protein a day right now. I eat like 1,500 calories just of protein at the moment, plus all my rice and fruit and yeah. I would be starving. Right. As I stay hungry all day, I imagine so. Yeah, it's hard. That's what she said. Well, it looks like no one's going to match Dean. They're not going to play the match game. 2,000 calories is well known in the twin community. Okay. If money was no object, what would be your go-to protein source? Probably be grass-fed bison and grass-fed sirloin all day. Right? All day, every day. I missed the your mama jokes. I do your mama jokes all the time, man. It sounds like your mom took Tylenol based on some of the stuff you're writing here, Blaze. Your mama took too much Tylenol. All right. That's rude to call me Leighton. That is kind of rude. Leighton, why are you picking on a brother like that? Why are you picking on a brother? All right. Forearm rating. So let's get a forearm rating today, guys. Dean has called for a forearm rating. How are we rating the forearms today? Where are we at? For rating times, because I'm gonna wind this down here shortly. Let's rate the forearms. All right. Distinguish your positional calisthenics. Just another form of exercise. I'm big on weighted body weight exercises. I mean, did you watch the training vlog today? So after squat, bench, deadlift, and reverse hybrid, I did weighted dips and then I did weighted pull-ups. No, I don't do muscle ups. 7.5 using Pro Builder body standard. Okay. All right, guys. I think it's about time to be winding it down. So I'm going to shut down the Facebook. We're going to wind down the tubes. I love you guys. Give you a Mount Bicephalus before we go. Oh, Mount Bicephalus. We're out.